From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 218 of From the Middle. We are two middle-class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. No, we aren't two of us because Kory's not dead. He's just traveling. And this week, Kendall and I talk about all kinds of things like taking care of our lawns, like our children and their busy schedules, and some interesting updates to things that we've been watching and how we're streaming. There's a lot that happens in this episode. You're going to have a ton of fun. Check it out.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
Dude, when I woke up this morning, my phone told me something in a warning that I've never seen on my phone before. Do you know? Did yours do it?
This morning?
Yeah.
No.
It said excessive heat watch.
It's
it's so hot outside. My phone is warning me to not go outside. Now, I'm a wimp. I wouldn't have gone outside anyways. But my phone is now saying it's excessive. Hey, Dillon, there's an excessive heat watch. Be careful. So I'm just trying to avoid the outdoors because it's the seventh circle of. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode. Got my buddy Kendall here. Kory is out gallivanting, or should I say goose stepping across Germany right now, having a good old time for work. So he's not joining us this week. But we're glad to be back as always. And chit chat with you all a little bit. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Doing okay in this extreme heat, I suppose. I mean, I think I've heard of heat warning or heat advisories. We've had heat advisories before.
Sure.
But no, that's funny. This morning I did something that I've absolutely never done before, either as a kid, I don't think, or as a homeowner. And that is watering the lawn.
Really?
I've never been a lawn irrigator before.
That feels quintessentially American. The rest of the world isn't wasting water on their grass.
Exactly.
But here we are just blowing it all. Just
well, I mean, here in the Midwest, you would think, I don't know, we have so much water where we live.
It's funny.
It is almost never an issue here. And with everybody watering their lawns, it's fine.
It's true. A buddy of mine asked me, he lives on the East Coast, and he asked me, hey, why is Columbus getting all those data centers and tech and all that stuff? And I had happened to have just read an article that I don't know if it was true or not, but part of the speculation was there's so few natural disasters and there's so much water available for cooling all of these data centers. The amount of water required to keep them cool. And he's like, yeah, that totally makes sense. I don't know if that's true, but it's literally what you're describing. We have so much water.
We have so much here. It'd be nice if there was a infrastructure way of piping it to Southern California, but I guess there's just not.
Yeah, they have to get theirs from the northwestern US, right? With how much rain Seattle gets, you feel like they only need a pipe down the coast.
Exactly.
That's their source. Canada snowfall melting, and Seattle's rain, and that should be
exactly
all they need.
It seems odd that that would be a problem, but it is, and I'm sure that there's reasons why they can't get water from up there down there. But it is.
I think if anyone, it's Vegas, so they got to pipe it in from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I
So
don't know. I don't know why no water for them, at least not from the Midwest. It can't have
not
it.
from
We
the
need it for data
Midwest.
centers.
Yeah, but we've got like these massive areas of our lawn where like we've been trying to get grass to grow and it's not happening, and so we had a lawn service come out and aerate and overseed our lawn, and the instructions on that, like we said, okay, let's do that, not looking into it, but that's what they recommended to do. And then after they were done, there's a little flyer on the door that said, okay, make sure you water every other day for the next like month. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
No.
So, and we paid hundreds of dollars to have this done. So, like, I'm going to water.
Yeah, naturally.
But yeah, this is the most into lawn maintenance I've ever gotten.
It's exciting. This will be we've basically finished our first year in our new house. We've started our second. I think we decided by spring of next year, we're going to need some people to come out and just like, hey, just time to spray for like general weeds. Help us back on cutting back. We've got a huge tree that's way too tall for us to cut back the branches on our own. Like we're going to need some help with landscaping next year a little bit because it's beyond our ability and knowledge for sure. But maybe they'll just leave me with the task of get out the hose and spray it. Maybe by the end they'll leave me that as the easy job.
Yeah, so that's what I've got.
Go out and do that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So running 2 sprinklers, one on the front, one on the back. Got to move them every half hour, and do that until it's all done.
Nice. Well, it is aerated, right? So it's all soaking it all up.
That's the hope.
It's beautiful.
That
it's a beautiful thing. I feel like I kind of wait, especially right now while it's so hot, not only because I don't want to go out and mow, also because I noticed my neighbors seem to be mowing kind of early and kind of low, and they keep kind of burning out their grass, like several of them around me. So I'm kind of letting it go like a little longer right now, and then I'm trying to plan out. But it is like so friggin' hot this week. I don't even know when I'm gonna. I have to cut it now. Like it's at that point right now. But the next several days are going to be like for us for Midwest excessive heat watch hot. So like I don't even know. This might be like the longest I've ever let it go in a year at this point because I'm just like if I cut it, I'm gonna have to either barely cut it, which won't feel worth it, or my lawn will die because or I go mow it and then I spray it with water immediately just to try not to. I don't know anything about lawn care. If you know anything about lawn care, send us help articles. Send us
the kind of lawn care that we don't really have to do much of anything.
Yeah. If I could stay inside and do whatever you recommend, that's even better. So,
yeah.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
And we're also at that time. I'm sure Kory will want to weigh in on this next week. We're also at that time where your kids have to be in school, right? Or very close to.
Oh, yeah, they started last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so spread. I feel like this year, more than many others, it feels so much more spread out of like when they're going back and when they're like people around different cities. It feels like 2 to 3 weeks difference between some of the earliest and some of the latest.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's the advent of air conditioning has caused things to shift. Now they can start school earlier than they used to, and as schools start getting air conditioning and whatnot. Because otherwise, I mean, can you imagine like heat advisory outside? Speaking of that, and sitting in a classroom like when we were growing up, when you didn't have air conditioning in your school, that would have been awful,
miserable. Yeah, and not even thinking about some of these kids on the second or third level of a building, just you remember trying to open those windows and it did nothing. The teacher's got a tiny oscillating fan in the corner, up by the teacher's desk that you're just like waiting to feel a wisp of.
I remember those days.
Gosh, man, it's like
very routinely. I used to walk into in high school when you didn't have assigned seating. I remember walking into classrooms, scoping out the fan situation and
Sure.
trying to choose my desk accordingly.
Yeah, your friendships didn't matter anymore at that point. It's
Exactly.
dude, I
Exactly.
don't if you're here 5 minutes past me, you're at the other corner of the room because I'm sitting up here by the fan.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Finley, our little one, starts tomorrow, and she's
She
very
is this kindergarten?
kindergarten. Yeah, she
Yeah.
did
Okay.
2 years of preschool. She's on to kindergarten, and
Oh,
little
2 years
little
of preschool. Okay.
2 years of preschool. That's why it messes people up because they think like exactly that. Hasn't she been in school a couple of years? It's got to be kindergarten already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was. Um, it was such. I don't want to say good timing because COVID was a terrible thing, but like for her, it did cut into some social time. But like right around her first opportunity to go to preschool at 3,
Hmm.
she went, everything was kind of ramping down by then. So she was able to like socialize over those 2 years that she probably missed some stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but just socializing. She didn't miss any school or anything like that. So
Right.
for her, it wasn't the worst situation. So we did a couple of years of that for her to socialize and learn. And so she's off to kindergarten. But quick funny story. So back in April, her school did, which does have air conditioning, thankfully for her. Her school did like the parents can come in and you can like look around and meet the teachers in general. You don't know who
Hmm.
kids teachers are, but every school probably does that. But this is new to me. So you're going in, we're touring the school for the first time because we're in a new district. We're meeting, principals and nurses and teaching staff and bus drivers, and they take you kids and the parents on a little ride around the bus, and you get to kind of see the route that it takes locally or whatever. And she was having a really good time. Well, she kind of scoped out the kindergarten teachers, and
Okay.
one of them, she said, if you're not on YouTube, I'll illustrate with words. She said, the one over there has bangs. And she was doing bangs where the side of the hair would be like the neck, like she's doing
Right. Yeah.
a hand gesture because she doesn't know what bangs are. And so she says, I like the girl with the yellow hair and bangs. I want her as my teacher. And so we kept telling her all summer, she's talking about the teacher whenever school comes up. I hope I get the teacher with the bangs. I hope I get and we're trying to like, we have no idea and no control over who she gets. There's 6 teachers in kindergarten. So there's
Yeah.
your odds, right? For anyone who likes math. So we just keep saying like, we don't know, but they're all probably great teachers. So like, yes, hopefully you get that one, but
Yeah. You got to hedge that a little bit.
yeah,
Be
because
like,
you have no clue. So we go in last week because she's going to go in and do a quick assessment, and they're going to assign her teacher. And they assign her teacher, and we're back in the car after we've left the assessment. So my wife has looked up the teachers on the phone. We now have the name, and looks up the teacher on the phone, and Finley doesn't know yet, but Bree now sees it's the teacher with the bangs. So,
okay.
so it's who she has wanted all summer and has been talking
Wonderful.
months. So now Bree turns the phone around to like show Finley who it is, and her response, it's like anytime a kid in a movie, especially in an animated movie, all of a sudden has that much more adult growly voice, and just out of the back seat we just hear, I got it. And she was excited. So
That's adorable.
she's been talking about it nonstop, and we got to go. We got to go in back into the classroom later that day, and so she got to meet her and officially meet her and talk to her. And they have the same. The teacher did a really nice learning about me with a picture of her family and some of her favorite things. They have the same favorite color. They have, whatever. So it was very nice. They got a hug, and she tell the story about how she saw her bangs and wanted her all summer. And
Yeah.
so she's like on cloud nine right now because she has the teacher that she's excited about.
Mhm.
And And I've never heard her growl like that in enthusiasm. So it was a new noise that she created for us that I've never heard before. So pretty funny. I'm we've only heard great things about this teacher too, which I'm sure they all are great. But you can certainly understand a kid being excited to, get who they wanted or who they were excited.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, that is exciting. And like I'm so glad they do those orientation things because I can remember going back to being a little kid and feeling the anxiety of the first day of school and those kinds of things. I really appreciate, at least for the elementary kids, the orientations that they do. And it's always so much fun to like finally get back into the school. And now that we've done like a few of these, and like, I get to walk around the building for a minute and like get to see the place where my kids spend all their time, and which is fun for me. And then my kids really like to go find their old teachers
Mm.
and say hi and give them hugs, which I think that their old teachers enjoy that, because I think if I were a teacher on an orientation day, um and this is probably just because of who I am, I would get so uh just so worked over by meeting new face after new face after new face for hours on end, and to see somebody come in who I recognize and I spent like a year with would be so welcome.
Oh,
and
super refreshing.
and I can see that in some of those interactions, and so that's always great and fun.
Well, good on your kids for going back and loving on the old teachers too, because
Yeah,
I'm sure they get a kick out of it and just um, makes them even more. Not only are they glad to see him, but also that's a reminder of what all the new kids' relationships with all the new kids will be a year from then, right? So like they're gonna
sure, yeah,
forge new relationships with new students and get to have that by the end of the year or something like that. So that's
yeah.
awesome.
So we're just in there. Um, I do want to mention, since we're talking about our kids, Isaac for his birthday got some Lego from us, and then he got more Lego from grandparents, and it was his very first like super serious kind of Lego set, like the expensive like $80 one, right? Is what we got him. And it was I'm gonna have to get this right. Hold on just a quick second. Geek out for Lego for a minute, and I'm going to mute myself and then yell for my son.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited that you said Lego. I literally like this is that point in life where if you're doing okay, you can kind of buy some fun stuff. And so like I've been doing that. Some of the stuff that they're releasing, like some castles and pirate ships and stuff from when I was a kid that I couldn't get. And so I'm getting it now as an adult, which I freaking love. All right, go ahead.
Here, put your ear right here. Your ear. There you go. Now you can hear Dylan. Tell Dylan the Lego that you got for your birthday. You can talk.
I got like a 2-in-1 Lego set, but like
What were the two things?
I got a cool TIE fighter and a Mandalorian Fang.
I know
What'd you get?
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then what did you get from grandma?
I got an Imperial Walker.
I love it so much. And I think that Mandalorian and TIE Fighter, Fang Fighter, that set has Mando in it with the dark saber, right?
Yeah, it does.
Very exciting
I can
to
show you
get.
that character.
Super awesome character. It was a really cool set. Super awesome character. Super awesome to get the dark saber, and then getting a walker, just classic Star Wars. And you just have extra ships to like fly around and shoot at the walker, and so cool. Awesome sets. Like you couldn't have picked better ones to get as gifts for your birthday. So happy birthday. Have you built them? Have you built them yet?
Yes, I've built them all.
They're all built.
He did them all real quick by himself. He's a Lego master.
Yeah, I love that. I have a special place in my heart for Star Wars Lego, especially. So they're all so good. I love the walkers. I can't. You got to take it out in the snow and play with it a little bit when there's like a little bit, not too much that you'll lose pieces, but like when there's a little bit of snow and you can walk it and make little AT-AT footprints. Just cause why not? Take some pictures, get really try to get really artsy of like the walker prints in the snow with the snow troopers. Your dad can help you with that. That'll be
that'd
fun.
be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Love it.
Hey. Door. Thank you, buddy.
Love it. Awesome sets. AT-AT and the Mando and the Fang Fighter. I'm intimately familiar.
Do you have all three of those or both of those sets?
Yeah, I haven't built them yet. I have a shelf in the storage part of our basement where because my Lego I try to keep confined to my office so that it's not spread around the house. I need some shelves in my office to put the Lego on. So I, in theory, have the room to build whatever I want, but I don't have the shelf space to put it on yet.
Yeah.
So like I could just build it and set it on the floor in here, but like I don't have the shelf space. So I need to go get a bunch of shelves. And then once I do that, there's this backlog of Lego sets sitting in my basement on shelves in my basement in boxes unbuilt. So when there's things that I want, something's on sale, somebody asks what I want for a birthday or Christmas, I can ask for these sets and then they're just like, I'll get to them eventually. So I'm like slowly building a lot of small stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the little things. What did I just build most recently? Like here's one. I have it on my desk because of course I do. And I can't remember now if this was like a freebie gift with purchase or whatever, but it's like a little Lego like castle, you know?
Oh, very nice.
In a tree. And there's like a little archer and whatever, and it's on a hinge, so like it closes. So yeah, I freaking
cool.
I love it. But the Star Wars stuff is incredible. I'm a big sucker for stormtroopers and clone troopers and all the minifigs. I can't ever get sick of them. They're fantastic.
Yeah. Very good.
Well, that feels like a really good spot to maybe take a quick break and hear from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Yep.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Everybody knows at the root of any good relationship, any relationship worth anything, is the only thing that matters between two people. And I'm talking about television. That's right. That's why you should listen to Married with Television, man, which is a podcast by my friends Shannon and Jamie, I call her cat ears, about movies and TV that they have loved for decades, man. You listen at marriedwithtv.com or anywhere you get your podcast. They are proud members of the Odd Pods Media Network, man. Married with Television.
So if you guys heard crunching and munching in the first half of that episode, this episode, not that one, this one, I was enjoying a Heath Blizzard from the Dairy Queen. Went to the Dairy Queen because while we're recording this, I had decided that while we're recording this, it is right when I just came home from picking up the kids from school. Normally when we're recording, the kids are in bed. And so in an effort to make them quiet, I preempted it by saying, hey, I'm going to record the podcast. You guys are going to have to be quiet. I'm going to get you ice cream. And so sitting there in the car line to pick up the kids, and I decided that I was going to place an order for McDonald's because that was going to be really quick. Use the app on my phone. Like a lot of people are probably doing these days. You can save money if you use the McDonald's app. And a funny thing happens. And I took a screenshot, I believe. And this is in 2023 how you find out. I think things are backwards.
Son of a If
How
you're
you find out that the ice cream machine is broken.
Yeah, if you're not on YouTube, it's disappointing little alert emoji icon things that are like, "Oh no, this is
Currently
items not
unavailable.
unavailable icons." Very
You literally
disappointing.
look at the entire menu of desserts and it's like peanut butter crunch McFlurry, currently unavailable. M&M
Gone,
McFlurry, currently unavailable.
gone.
Caramel Sundae, currently unavailable.
Yeah, how dare you even think about wanting something that their app makes available to you? How
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to Dairy Queen instead because I had already made promises and
Yeah,
wrote the
well, of
checks.
course. Yeah, the local. So I've been trying to use the Taco Bell app more, right? For the same reason. If you're not using an app for fast food and restaurant places, you're not saving money when you could. It's probably not tons of money, but if you've got the time and the energy to like just use an app to order food or whatever, okay,
Pick like your top 2 or 3 or something like that
yeah,
would be probably a good way to do it.
just lean into it. So Taco Bell, man, I've really not been using it that long, and I've already got like several free items just from. It's like add it to cart, redeem free item, whatever. So, anyways, Taco Bell had their chicken, like their crispy chicken tacos, so good, still on the menu. But every time I walk in there, there's a printed out piece of paper that's like, we're out of the crispy chicken tacos. We're out of the watermelon freezes. We're out of the watermelon strawberry freezes. We're out of the, you're like, son of a gun.
No
Like,
kidding.
it's like the best stuff too. McDonald's can't be trusted. They don't even, it's, what's it called when everyone thinks something is true? The Streisand effect. McDonald's has never really sold ice cream. We're just all, we just have all been convinced. Streisand effect. We're all sure of it, but
It's all so much of McDonald's strategies are surrounded around geared toward selling pies, I think. I mean, it used to be every time you would order anything from McDonald's, they would ask you if you wanted pie
yeah,
after you were done ordering. And I think enough people said no that they're like, all right, we're going to take away ice cream. We're going to tell you that there's ice cream. You're going to come here for dessert. And then we're going to bait and switch you and be like, hey, do you want some of these pies that we made back in 1987 and can't get rid of?
yeah.
And
I don't know. I don't really know, but anything at all, but especially related to food. But you've heard things like meat and dairy products tend to be the more expensive items. And we've also heard that the milkshake and ice cream machines are kind of a pain in the butt for the employees to clean. So
Yeah.
you can see why they don't want to make it a lot because then they have to clean the machines. Those pies, fry pies or whatever they are, must have such a deep margin on them that they're like making those things for like 18 cents a piece en masse. And then they're trying to get you to buy 2 for $1.
Right.
Because they're gonna like, we're gonna make so much freaking money off these pies. That's why all their drinks are $1 each. They don't care. They're making
care.
so much money off
Exactly.
the drinks.
everything, everything is an effort to get you to buy their pies. They're not a burger company. They're secretly in the pie business.
They're a real estate business who makes extra margins on fry pies. That's their business.
That's that. You know, I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but like much like the McDonald's thing, that McDonald's like makes as a corporation makes their bank on real estate. Like that's kind of what they do. And Little Caesars, I read, makes their bank on the food supply business is what they do. Like the restaurants are just kind of and not really an afterthought, but at this point it's come to where they're sort of like the side gig, and like Little Caesars is making their money by producing food products and shipping them to other restaurants. Like that's it. The way their business has changed and morphed over the years. It's Little Caesars, the pizza company, is just kind of like the front that's attached to it.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because some young family members have had fundraisers for their schools where they partner with Little Caesars, and they'll sell you, it's like 2 pizzas, make your own. So it's just the ingredients prepackaged, which is what you're describing basically. Like buy the supplies and sell them to other people. But like two pizzas, I'm guessing they're probably mediums or larges. Maybe let's just say they're larges for sake of giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's like $24 tied to this fundraiser. Now we've bought like multiple before because we're just trying to support whatever. But then when you're looking at it going like, dude, isn't this like $8 at the store? And you're sure they're not giving even most of the difference in that back to the school. There's probably like $5 per pack of pizzas that actually goes to the school, and then a bunch of margin that goes to Little Caesars. But you do it because you want to help the kids and they have fundraisers and whatever. But sometimes they're so expensive. You're like, can I just write you a check for $20? And like, I'd rather just the whole amount go to you because, yes, it's fun to get pizzas. And I think at this point, we've done it because we're really paying for the experience of letting our daughter make the pizzas, and it helps the kids because we know how expensive it is. It's like, this is just going to become an activity then that we get to do together. We're paying for the activity that is making the pizza. Oh, and by the way, we'll just eat it at the end for dinner.
Exactly. But think about this on a very rudimentary, raw level. Is if you have a restaurant business and you're making pizzas and you have a company that you're buying tomato product to make your sauce from, and they're charging you whatever, say that they're charging $5 per unit. And then they tell you, if you buy a lot more of this sauce, we'll only charge you $2.50 per unit. And Little Caesars thinks, or you as the restaurant owner thinks, I don't need that much sauce, but I sure could use that discount. So I'm going to buy the mass quantities of sauce, and I'm going to negotiate that down to $2 per unit. I'm going to use what I need. I got my product real cheap. Now I can make pizzas cheaper than everybody else. And I'm going to sell everybody else what I don't use in the tomato product.
Yeah.
And then just do that with all of your stuff.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're in the wholesale food business.
I mean, I'm an idiot and that makes sense to me. So yeah, I could totally buy that. I wish sometimes that story would go a slightly different direction. And I have a local example. One of my favorite local pizza places makes more expensive, nicer pizza. They're not a cheap pizza place. And right down the road from them is a local, very high quality barbecue joint. And this pizza place decided they could probably source cheap chicken, or they could probably source decent chicken, and then do it themselves and buy the barbecue sauce. But they said, hey, why don't we go to the local barbecue place? We're going to buy the best quality, already like cooked, smoked barbecue, whatever, barbecue chicken from them. And we're going to put that on our pizza.
Yeah.
And they're probably still getting a good deal. Like they're probably not paying what a consumer would pay to go in and buy X amount of chicken. But I'm like, that's the way it should go. Like that's the way I want it to go. Like here's
pizza synergy.
Here's a thing I'm not good at. And I was thinking about this today because I got some really good like chicken pepper meatballs from Costco. I'm like, some pizza place needs to work out a deal with that company and put those on their pizza instead of making generic meatballs. It's like, do the math. I mean, how much more is it going to cost you? Like an extra 80 cents per pizza that has meatballs on it to like buy the nicer ones and just cut them up and like throw the meatball chunks on there. Like that needs to happen more often, where like people are doing that to upgrade the quality of their ingredients, not to lower the costs and make it cheaper. We need to go the other way.
Yeah. Well, it's a diverse economy and there's room for both.
Sure. But
there's need for both.
It feels like there's far more people trying to cut costs and lessen the quality of materials and ingredients than there are people trying to make things better.
Sure.
So like, don't be afraid if you're out there listening and you're on the border of like, should I go cheaper or should I just lean into being a better quality version of what I have now? Just lean into the better quality version.
We probably could use more of that.
Yeah.
I do like the local mashup situations. We've got a couple of those. We have that I've noticed, especially in the pizza world. I've noticed multiple pizza places
Yeah.
reaching out to local places to make a special pizza,
Yeah.
even if it's for just a limited run.
And one of
Yeah.
our other favorite pizza places sources really good cookies and brownies from a bakery in Westerville. And like they could go to GFS and buy frozen chocolate chip cookie dough and just bake, generic cookies, but they don't. Like they partnered up with a bakery and like, hey, we're not going to try to be also great at desserts. Let's just, and they have like their Cinnasticks pizza that you can buy, but like for cookies and brownies, they just source those from a bakery.
Yeah.
Like that's a much better direction. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Like do your thing well and pull in other people when you need help.
There it is. There it is.
Love it. What else is going on, buddy?
Oh boy. Kids are everything is kicking in. I feel like I described it recently to somebody as the feeling of when you're if you haven't like cleaned out or organized your garage in like 3 years and everything is now just a disheveled mess, and you decided that today is going to be the day that you're going to clean it, and you're just you open the door to the garage and you just stand there and you look at it, and that feeling of I know I'm going to get through this, I know I'm going to figure it out. Right now I don't know how.
Yeah, you find
kind of how I feel right now when it comes to family scheduling. Because we're rapidly entering into a phase of parenthood that is perfectly normal. And I know a lot of families that have had it way worse than we do. But so like school just started up. We've been doing karate, which is a couple nights a week, or at least it has been a couple nights a week. And that's all 5 of us. And then we do piano once a week with the kids. My church stuff is my church stuff. And then we are adding soccer for all 3 kids to that, which that's going to be another couple nights a week.
Yeah.
For all 3 kids. It is not all like it is not as if we can add soccer and nothing else changes. Like we're going to have to shift karate around to different days which thankfully our karate studio has that availability. Like they're open Monday through Thursday. They've got particular times for particular belt levels, and the times are different each day. And it's just like show up 1 or 2 times a week on any day of the week, whatever works best for you.
That's handy.
Yeah. So we're going to be shifting that around. And we don't even know exactly when all of the practices for soccer are going to be. We just know that we're to expect a couple a week. I'm not looking forward to the logistics of figuring all that out.
Yeah. And there's the whole added side question. How often are you going to have to go through the drive-thru, and how much ice cream will McDonald's still not have?
That's
because you're eating it in the car, so you just got to order. You got to order it, pick it up. How much disappointment will there be for food on the go? That's super handy, though, that you can just like show up at your karate thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a particular time. So, like for example, it'll be like red belts on meet at like 4:30 on Mondays, at 5:30 on Tuesdays, at 6:20 on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So that's how they set it up.
Sounds like college scheduling. You go to class at 9 a.m. this day, 8:47 on Tuesdays.
Right.
9:13 on Wednesdays.
Yeah. And you don't have to officially like call anybody and tell them, hey, we're going to switch to these days. You just do it.
Well, I don't envy you. Some people do those DAC boards, like Kory has one, where it's like that electronic board that's on a big monitor in your house, and you just like have to put everything on there. Some people do like the Google and iCloud shared calendars and notifications, and some people are just organized.
Yeah. I mean, we're Alexa people that we'll be using for that, just to give but that's mainly just to give reminders. We have a shared Google Calendar that's on there.
Yeah.
And then for events like piano lessons and those kinds of things, we have like 1 hour and half-hour reminders and that kind of thing so that we don't forget anything. But you still have to do the work of sitting down and like through each kid and figuring out this is when your soccer practice is, this is when their soccer practice is. So this is when you can do karate, but like Joel can do karate at these other times, but not necessarily at the same time that you can. And
Yeah, we're gonna have to see Kory's reaction next week, knowing that he deals with that similarly.
yes, yeah,
Because
he's a couple steps ahead of us in that.
I'm not there yet. In fact, we were talking about like, is it too much for her to have any activities on top of kindergarten? Do we wait until first grade to even dish out like anything else? And so she had tried ballet this summer, and you can go year round or you can like wait and then start in February and just go for a couple months. We were going to let her decide. Plus like church activities, we were going to let her decide about ballet. And she was kind of like, I think I want to wait until February and then maybe just do it for a couple months. I think we were a little relieved because it felt like, man, church activities and any kind of other thing plus kindergarten. So and her kindergarten is 5 days a week all day. There's no half days or whatever. So even that was up in the air with like, that's a lot. Like she doesn't know what she's getting into yet. She'll probably be fine, but maybe we won't and she will.
Yeah.
But it's wild. So
my guess is she'll be okay. I've generally learned when it comes to like my worry for those kinds of things is that like the capacity of my kids to endure things is much greater than I would ever assume.
Yeah, they're kids are pretty resilient.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible, and she's pretty energetic. So running out of energy to do things seems highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I have a question. I have one thing I'm watching right now, and then I have a question about something I will be watching.
Okay.
Are you watching anything right now, or do you not have time because you're ramping up your schedule?
I am like within 20 minutes of finishing Indiana Bones and the Nuclear Skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
It would have been fine, but I'm glad you watched it. So
no, I mean, I'm actually enjoying that one. I think it's fun.
All right. I jumped on the bandwagon. So I think Netflix is realizing they kind of had forgotten what it was like to have a show already complete with a bunch of seasons, because they used to have like Friends and The Office and Seinfeld and all these shows that people binged over and over and over. And then they lost the rights to all of those. They didn't get rid of them. They lost. Yeah. It's not their content. And Netflix has now created this habit and is now known for canceling shows very quickly. And so what they're finding is that people are really cautious about starting Netflix shows because they're like, if there's only 1, 6, 8, 10 episode season, so there's been this resurgence of people binging the show Suits because it's a 9-season show from USA Today with like longer seasons. Yeah. And so it's like, it's been at the top of the Netflix charts. Yeah. And the Netflix executives have to be going, oh yeah, this is what it was like when we had all those other hit shows on our platform and not just a bunch of crappy unfinished content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I joined the bandwagon because so many people were talking about Suits.
Yeah,
dude. The second season. It's very good. It kind of reminds me how it's almost entirely all takes place at work. And then a little bit of the premise of the show. It kind of reminds me of like the law firm version of House.
Yeah.
House, unlike some other medical shows, was like almost always taking place at the hospital. It rarely like ventured out. That's kind of how Suits feels. It's very good. I had no real awareness of the show. Obviously, in hindsight, Meghan Markle is in it, so like that would have obviously affected the audience of the show and who was aware of it. It's very good. Have you watched any?
Oh yeah, I watched through Suits a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so you were well ahead of the Netflix curve on that one. Yeah, very good. I hope it stays as good through the end of the show versus the early seasons. But it reminds me very much of why we like all got on Netflix early on. Like, oh, this is so great that you can sit and binge these long series and over the course of weeks and months and whatever and enjoy them all. I remember all the Star Trek series being on Netflix, and you could go back and watch those and seasons worth. I just don't think there's enough content for everybody to have their own app, which is you see a lot of like, oh, Showtime is going to merge with Paramount, and HGTV Plus and CNN are going to merge with HBO, and because they're all they broke apart all this content into too many different things. We need maybe 6 or 7 apps total, not 16 or 17 apps total.
Which I mean, back to the point, like when all of the breaking off from Netflix and all of that stuff started happening, and every network wanted their own streaming service. When that all started, we had talked about it, and there's a part of me that's wondering if we're not just telling ourselves that maybe cable wasn't that bad, because it's to a point now where you can play the roulette game or the revolving game of subscribing and unsubscribing, that kind of thing. That's what I do. So at any given point in time, we only have like 3. And then I'll drop Netflix for a while, pick up Paramount and watch what I want on Paramount, drop it, pick up Hulu or whatever. And that's fine, but it's annoying to have to do that. And so now you have like all these people who are like, I don't want to have 16 or 17 different things, but they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Even though they said they weren't going to.
Yeah.
And they could have just been paying for cable this whole time.
Yes and no, because some of the stuff is exclusive to the apps. Like, was it? I didn't watch it, so it's not on my radar.
Unless the apps didn't exist, and we just never entered that world. Sure. So that's kind of what I'm questioning. Is like, has it gotten better? And
I think I think overall it's still way better. You don't have boxes and hardware. You're not waiting for install people to come out and then fix it when it's broken. People wanted packages the whole time. There are some channels that I'm just never going to watch. So why was I paying for them? Because even if I have 3 or 4 apps, and even if they all get more expensive, it's still cheaper than cable. I'm still paying less. I mean, even $20 Netflix and $15 Hulu and Disney Plus, I wasn't getting $35 cable options. It was 80 and 90 and $100 cable options. And so I do still think it's better, but the extra little edge you have to have is you have to be willing when you're done with something to go cancel it. And like, I just canceled Stars. We did a trial of that. And it took me all of about, a minute and a half to log into their website and go through a couple screens to cancel it.
Exactly. And for iPhone users, if you sign up through your iPhone and sign up through your Apple account and all of that stuff, like for most of them, you can go into your App Store settings and just literally turn them on and off in there.
Yeah, it's so nice. So I do think it's better. I had one question. Speaking of streaming, traditionally when we've talked about streaming, we've talked about Netflix, which gave us everything all at once to binge. And now a lot of the other apps are doing a weekly release, right? So those were kind of the 2 options in the streaming world of, did you have a preference? Well, Disney Plus just made a shift with Ahsoka, and it's not that it's different than one of those 2. It's still a weekly release. However, they just changed up how they did it. And what I mean by that is most of the streaming things are, or like Hulu, if it aired on network television, it was on Hulu the next day. Or content would release at midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m. Eastern, which means those people watched it the next evening,
Right.
or at lunch or something. Disney just announced with Ahsoka. We're recording this on Tuesday the 22nd. Ahsoka is going to launch on Disney Plus at 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday the 22nd. This is the first time, at least that I'm aware of, that we're getting a show launching so you can watch it Eastern through West Coast all that day. And this is the first time that the weekly thing that they're selling me with it, because I always felt like I kind of hate that it's dropping at 3 a.m. I'm not sitting up till 3 a.m. to watch something, and then that means I've got to like wait, and I'm excited. And yes, it's only half a day. It's not that big of a deal. But now it's like they're launching it right when kids are going to bed. Ahsoka's kind of geared towards adults, more adults than kids. Let's flip on now that it's on Disney Plus. We can watch it the night and the day that it comes out. I didn't know if you knew about that or if you had any thoughts, but that might be a way to start getting me to prefer the weekly drop, is if they start launching at like 8-9 o'clock at night Eastern. Any thoughts?
I don't see how that would make any difference to me.
Yeah, it'd have to be something you'd really want to see to care about watching it the day it comes out.
Yeah. What's the advantage to watching it like at 9 p.m.?
I don't have to avoid internet chatter for potentially a day or two.
Okay.
Like, especially on a spoilery show, like a Marvel or a Star Wars or something that's like, I don't have to, oh gosh, there's headlines for, this character did this, and there's a photo.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see it till I watch it.
That is a great point. That is a great point. See, because like you and Kory are like, you're into the insider stuff, and so it's on your feeds and that kind of thing. And I'm not, like, I don't go in and read the blogs and like find all the people who found all the Easter eggs, and so like I'm into watching the movie and then deciding whether or not I enjoyed the movie, and then that's pretty much ends my relationship with it. But sports, on the other hand, I love watching live sports, and I do follow and read a lot about sports. And like, if I want to go into a sports app to look at some things, like there have been circumstances where, especially with like Olympics and that kind of thing, where like I'm trying to avoid news because this thing happened overnight and I'm not watching it until later today.
Yeah. And
so I can understand that.
And to be clear, although I mentioned geeky things, if Friends was on right now, these could be like Ross and Rachel episode cliffhanger type things that are like, oh my gosh, people are talking about it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Or they're talking about it on the Today Show, or they're talking about it on you're like, no, I don't know. It's like, it could be any genre of show, but I think especially for people who really like, if part of the argument for the cliffhanger is you like the discussion, you like the cliffhangers, you like waiting and it being broken up a little bit. And so I wonder if that changes that a little bit, where you're not stuck waiting till the next day versus the few freakish people who stay up through the night or work second or third shift and like find themselves watching stuff really late when it drops on Hulu or Disney Plus or HBO. Anyways, I'm intrigued by it. I'm excited. That it won't always work out that way, but that I have the option to watch it tonight after the kiddo goes to bed. I can fire it up and see the newest episodes. And then tomorrow, by the time articles and people are chit-chatting on the work Slack channels, I won't have to go, oh, I can jump in and chime in. Super nerdy, I know, but it's the things we'd like to think about. Anything else? I think we're gonna wrap this one up. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Hey, does your beard smell awful and look even worse?
How did you know?
You know what you need to do, my friend, is head on over to artiusman.com. And they've got all of the things to help you out. Things that are going to smell not only good, but manly. And you can get your beard oil and those kinds of things. You can also get your soap, bars of soap, body wash, shampoo, conditioner. They've got all that. They have manly, well-scented candles. They have hats and other stuff too. I actually have an Artius Man deck of cards.
Really?
which is pretty snazzy. I even have Artiest Man coasters that at one point in time, like I'd ordered a few things and they just threw some coasters in the box.
What?
These are the
Look at
kind
these
of
guys.
family friendly folks that you're dealing with. Like I've gotten handwritten notes before, not because they know who I am, because the one guy does, but he doesn't know when I'm ordering stuff. Um, but I'm not saying that's going to happen for you, but it happened by surprise to me.
Yeah.
So it is a fun local to us company that I'm sure will ship to wherever you are as well. And if you go into the your shopping cart checking out and you type in the middle, it's going to save you 25% off if it's your first order. And then it kind of makes you an Artiest Man customer. It also makes you a from the middle customer, because then in perpetuity, as long as you don't use someone else's code, we're going to get our appreciation from Artiest Man for sending you there. So please go there, buy some stuff. Helps us. You're going to smell great. You're going to look great, and you're going to be helping out an awesome Central Ohio company.
Love it.
All right, guys, gals, friends, and enemies. We'll see you next time.